Gardening service.
Okay.
How are you?
I'm got dressed at all.
You're good. I'm just going to start filming, just going to start unloading. We're not going to finish all today, just so you know.
Okay.
So I'm going to try to put in the major foundation plants today, and then I'll probably come tomorrow and then probably the next day.
Okay.
So, cool?
Cool.
All right. Hey y'all, it's Amanda, and this is my Texas Zone 8 garden. And before we dive in, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this on your Facebook page. Okay, you all, this morning I am at my mother-in-law's house. She and I live in the same neighborhood. Oh, sorry, she's opening her garage door. We live in the same neighborhood, and when she moved in a few years ago, because I was supposed to do this a long time ago, she had all of this edging installed around her gardens, and then this was very overgrown with holly shrubs and stuff that she just didn't really enjoy. So she had the contractor pull out everything and just leave it simple and plain until the time came where her daughter-in-law would come and do some work over here. And so a few things about the space. This faces west, so she gets full on hot sun right here. There's no other house across the street from her, so she has a beautiful view, but she doesn't get any cast shade or anything like that. She does have drip irrigation set up in here, and we're gonna have to do a little discovery with that. I think I'll have to use a rake and come through and see where all the drip irrigation is. It looks like we also have some landscaping fabric, and I believe we put that down because a few years ago there were so many weeds in here. So the landscape fabric's been there for a few years. So I think I'll probably start by scraping back all of the mulch and pulling up the landscape fabric. But I've been selecting plants. I don't have everything I need, but we're pretty close. With this rounded area right here, this is going to be the main feature area, and we're going to put a Ruby Falls Weeping Redbud here. And then we're going to do an arrangement of shrubs that will be her foundation plants. And then we'll probably shift to another video because we're not going to be able to do this all in one video. The next video will include a series of perennials and some decorative pot elements. Like there's this one right here. We'll probably move this, but tucking in some different pots in some different areas as well. And then I think the final video will be adding annuals to the space. So super excited, but let's go ahead and start with pulling back all of this mulch. Okay, so that's not going to work. I'm going to need something stronger. Okay, I don't actually know what this metal tool is, but I think I can come across. We had a massive storm last night. Today is actually Memorial Day. So special thank you to veterans, active duty personnel, and families who give of themselves every day for us. But we had a massive storm last night, and so everything is super wet. So I think the name of the game today is definitely this. We're gonna be pulling up landscape fabric. But it did its job for several years. So, and got rid of those weeds so she didn't have to stress about it. Oh, it's amazing. There's still plants trying to grow under here, y'all. Years of being under here. How funny. Okay, not moving that without Jeff. Okay, so prepping is so stinking important before you plant a bunch of plants and waste your money. It's very important to come along, check your soil, check what's going on with your irrigation. And so right now I'm coming around and there we go. Oh, well that apparently we'll have to fix that drip irrigation that I just broke right there. I'll have to send Jeff back for that. So I'm coming around and pulling up all the drip so I can kind of just like take a look at it. All this mulch is great because it's all, see how that's all the white stuff? That means it's all breaking down, which is awesome. And I am pulling up all the stakes on the drip irrigation as I go around. So that I can repin it where I want it. And also we will, before we plant, we'll definitely turn everything on and confirm that everything is working. And then once we place plants, I will run additional lines from this existing line. I'll run additional lines to directly to the base of the new plants. Because one thing about a west-facing garden in North Texas is if you want anything to live, you gotta have drip irrigation. It's heavy. Watch your step. Let's put right there for right now. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so let's talk about drip irrigation. So right here, the drip irrigation goes down and it goes under the concrete to this side, which is cool. I'm gonna get Jeff to clear out that side and comes back. The contractor was very deliberate how he laid this, which is actually a very different experience for contractors. Usually it's just all willy-nilly. He was very smart in that he made sure that the drip irrigation completely outlines all of the stonework that he did. And that's really great because that is also extremely helpful for keeping that from cracking. And she's 3 years in and she doesn't have cracks along the front, which is great. And I do think that there's an adequate amount of drip irrigation. However, I will be doing some additional irrigation to the bases of the plants. Now, what I want to do, Jeff is going to grab, because of course I forgot it all home, my drip irrigation stuff because I broke this guy, so we need to fix it. We're going to fix that. And then I think while he's gone, I'm going to go ahead and I want to start laying out some foundation plants for y'all and kind of talking about what my thought process was. Okay, so this plant right here is going to be the main feature plant in the design. And it's going to be placed right over here in the circle part of the bed. And this is a Ruby Falls Weeping Red bed. It gets about 8 feet tall, so I'm about almost 6. So right about here. And you can see how well that's going to fill this space really nice. It will block her numbers, but she's got numbers on her curbs and all that kind of stuff. And this actually can be pruned and topped off as well if she wants to keep it smaller. You can train it into an umbrella shape. You can allow it to go all the way down to the ground if you want. You can do a lot of different things with it. It has interest multiple times a year, beautiful, bright pinkish purple flowers in the spring. Then as new leaves emerge, they are a beautiful dark plum color. And then as they get older, they fade to green. And then finally in the fall, they fade to yellow. And then during the winter, all the leaves fall off and it leaves this beautiful weeping structure of branches, which is glorious. So this will end up filling this whole rounded space right here, which I think will be really, really nice. And I really wanted a feature piece on this curve portion as well. I also think it goes a long way to give her a little bit of privacy on her porch area because this will fill in this space and there's a neighbor's window right here. So this will block the neighbor's window from being able to see to her space. Okay, next I have a couple of Rose Creek Abelias, which get to about 3 to 4 feet tall, so right about this level, which is nice. It covers the bottom portion of her window, but then still allows her to look outside if need be. This has some beautiful green leaves, but it has red stems, which is absolutely gorgeous. But these are 3 to 4 feet tall by 3 to 4 feet wide. And they're really good in mass plantings, and they do have white flowers, which are really pretty. But I think those are a nice standard design for the back. They are evergreens, so they will retain their leaves during the winter, which I think will be really good. I'm trying to decide, do I want to center them up on these windows? No, I can't, because there is a drain right here. But off center is fine, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to put a collection of containers in that back corner. Okay, next is another abelia. This is a kaleidoscope abelia, and this one was chosen for its beautiful, bright yellow tones, which I'm absolutely obsessed with. I forget the size on this. It's not too giant. I don't see my tag, it's fallen off, so I can always do a voiceover here. But I really like the color structure of it. And I'm bringing it a little bit forward because, like I said, I'm probably going to put a collection of containers in that back corner. And I think that this will soften the bottoms of the containers, which I think will be really nice. This is also evergreen. It maintains this beautiful yellow variegation. And then it also puts on blooms. Mine typically blooms late summer into fall, but I think that'll look really nice. Now, the sizes are mismatched right now. These eventually will fill in and larger. And you really have to plan for what the future size is going to be. I do want a lot of coverage in this garden because I don't want her to have to pick weeds. So if I can put in a lot of shrubs and plants that cast shade onto the soil, weeds won't grow, which will be extremely helpful. Okay, next we're going to layer in some blue star junipers. And these are going to be moved. One's a little bit back, one a little bit more to the front. I would love if they eventually cascaded over the top. They only get about 2 feet tall, but they get 3 to 4 feet wide. So it will take up a nice good space and add in a lot of color and interest, but they're not hard to take care of. They're very easy to take care of. The reason I selected these junipers is because it has a blue tone. So now we've got the red, we've got green, we've got yellow, and we've got blue. A lot of color, a lot of interest, which I think is important. Her house is very casual, so it's not like super fancy. So I think having a lot of interesting colors and textures, instead of everything like being really regimented, I think having a lot of mix and softness throughout complements her house way better. The color of her brick is really pretty. It's a soft, like reddish pink with some brown in it, which is really nice. And then the rustic quality of her shutters, I think, really lends itself for the look of these plants. But you can see adding this blue star juniper in here against the red color of the brick just looks really beautiful. And these will fill out. Now, it's going to take a few years for a lot of stuff to fill out. So over time, what we'll do is we'll be layering in some perennials and some annuals to fill the spaces until these shrubs mature and take over the space. Okay, I think I'm going to shift a little bit. We've got the Ruby Falls Weeping Redbud right here. I've got the Rose Creek Abelia right here. Very similar colors and structures. I think I'm going to actually shift over the Kaleidoscope Abelia to this space, and I think that lightens up this corner. And then I've got the Rose Creek Abelia over here. Now, the reason behind that is because I have a beautiful spirea that has yellow tones as well. So let me grab that. Okay, so this is a double play Big Bang Spirea by Proven Winners, and it definitely has a punch of a yellow tone. So I knew I wanted it there. I wanted it towards the front because we want to see all the flowers. So I didn't want the Kaleidoscope Abelia right behind it because look how much yellow that would have put a big spot of yellow. So I wanted to spread that out a little bit. So I think this also continues to make sense in this space. Yeah, that looks really good. Let's see, this gets, the double play Big Bang gets 2 to 3 feet tall and wide. So it will fill in this space really beautifully over the years. And it has a really like soft red bloom, which I think will complement, because I am doing a lot of pinks in this space. A lot of her perennials are going to be pinks, which I think will look really nice. Okay, and then next, I've got a sweet little, almost like ground cover rose. This is Magic Mytilene Rose, ground cover rose. And it gets only 2 feet tall, but it does get 5 feet wide. So eventually it should fill in this entire space right here with these soft pink, beautiful flowers, which would be really nice. And we can actually shape it where it can flow over different portions. I would not want it to flow over into this walkway. This is where people walk, and I don't want them getting the little thorns. The little thorns are very small. But I like that idea of a brighter pop of pink. Now, I am concentrating more of the flowers this way towards the walkway. There's less floral interest this way. So we've got the spirea and we've got the ground cover rose, which I think will be really nice. Now, we're probably still going to put a container back here that'll be up a little bit. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm also considering potentially some more junipers. That'll be tall and thin. That would be pretty in front of this column and also pretty in front of a portion of her garage. I don't know. I'm going to continue to evaluate that. I also really love the idea of just a container right there that she can add annuals to, because she does still like to piddle around in the garden, and she does enjoy color and fresh floral and stuff. And also I would love to just be able to stop by and pop in some annuals for her. So I think that that'll look really nice. And then once again, we have a contrast between the spirea and the ground rose. This has a deeper green leaves, and this has more of the yellow tone leaves. So I broke this over here. So we're just gonna pin it back together with a straight line coupler. And I keep this handy dandy set up right here. And this top one is for all my 1/4 inch. This bottom is all for all my inch, 1/2 inch. And all I need is a straight line coupler, just like that. And then we'll just splice the two of these back together. Super simple and easy. And then we're going to go ahead and turn on the sprinklers to confirm that we don't have any massive leaks, and that we confirm that the water is, everything's working and we're good. And then once we're confirmed on that, we can start planting. Okay, stop. Stop. So let me get in here and dig. Where I broke it off, looks like it goes down into the ground through the concrete. It's in here in the concrete. He concreted over the connection. And it's not like I can even cap it off, because it's buried into the concrete. I mean, thankfully it's not super. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get you to do that. The goal is not to cut off any of the pipe. I'm gonna keep the length of it, so it's literally gonna be going like this, digging around it until we can see like where this is coming from, or can we reattach to this, or what?
That's what else has to, do we need to?
All right, so where I broke it off earlier ended up being really important. So now Jeff is over here. He is going to be chipping through concrete. Best husband ever. He's gonna work on that, and I'm gonna start planting some other plants during that time. Okay, so one of the good things about pulling up all of the drip lines so that they're visible is when I go to plant, I don't have to stress as much. And I am using my root slayer, which is the best. Of course, as soon as I went in, it feels hard. That's what I'll have to cut that out. And I am going to be using plant tone in each of these. Where I was shopping at Homegrown Plants and they were out of Biotone. So plant tone was the next best thing in my opinion. And this guy is not root bound whatsoever. Looks like I dug my hole a little bit deep. If it was root bound, I would use my hoary knife on the sides to kind of scrape the roots and loosen it up. Kaleidoscope Abelia is a compact, semi-evergreen shrub with vibrant, variegated foliage that changes with the seasons, golden green in spring and summer, and shades of orange and red in fall. It produces small, fragrant, white flowers from summer to fall, grows 2 to 3 feet tall and wide, thrives in full sun to part shade, and is hardy in zones 6 through 9. It's noted for its low maintenance and colorful foliage year-round. And then I'm just using the side of my foot to make sure the soil is tamped down around the base of the plant. I usually put my foot in at an angle. Okay. Yay, first one in. Root Slayer for the win. Rose Creek Abelia features glossy green leaves that develop a bronze tint in cooler months and abundant white, lightly fragrant flowers that bloom from late spring through fall. This mounded shrub stays compact, reaching 2 to 3 feet tall and 3 to 4 feet wide, prefers full sun to part shade, and is hardy in zones 6 through 9. It's loved for its tidy form and extended blooming season. I swear this Root Slayer is the best thing ever. Double Play Big Bang Spirea offers striking foliage in shades of orange, yellow, and red that emerge in spring and soften to chartreuse in summer. It also produces clusters of bright pink flowers in early summer. Grows 2 to 3 feet tall and wide, thrives in full sun, and is hardy in zones 4 through 9. It's valued for both its foliage and flower color in one low-maintenance package. Blue Star Juniper is a slow-growing evergreen shrub with silvery blue, needle-like foliage and a low spreading habit. It reaches about 1 to 3 feet tall and 3 to 5 feet wide. It requires full sun and well-draining soil and is hardy in zones 4 through 8. It's excellent as a ground cover or accent for its year-round color and tidy shape. Magic Mytilene is a low-growing, spreading ground cover rose with vibrant, deep pink blooms that flower repeatedly through the season. It has glossy, disease-resistant foliage and grows 1 to 2 feet tall and spreads 3 to 4 feet wide. It requires full sun and is hardy in zones 5 through 9. It's known for being low maintenance and having exceptional disease resistance. Okay, so while I've been planting, Jeff is turning off the sprinkler or the system. Okay, so Jeff had to dig down in the concrete to access the pipe that went down in here because I broke that part and I broke it at the level of the concrete. So he literally had to chip away using hammer and chisel to reveal the pipe. Not the best way to do the pipe. That should not have been done that way when it was done, but here we are. Anyway, we are able to fix it, splice it. The whole system works. So feeling really good about that. So last thing I'm going to do today is the weeping redbud. One of the things I've been trying to do while got some roots down here that are still a little green, which is a little scary. what I've been trying to do is break up a lot of these bigger clumps as I'm putting them to the side. And that makes things a little bit easier when I'm backfilling. And of course, you want all your plants to sit at or slightly above the soil line. I was telling my mother-in-law that there's definitely a lack of life in the soil. Not seeing a lot of worms, not seeing a lot of insect activity. Now that could definitely be because the landscape fabric was here. But I'm seriously considering, I've never done this before, I'd have to do some research, but adding some earthworms to her garden. And I think that what I could do is instead of like going to buy some, I've got a couple of places in my garden that are just teeming with earthworms. I think I literally could just like pull a bunch from my own garden and bring them over. I think would be great. Then I know that whatever, they're like native, you know, so I don't have to stress about that. Now, Ruby Falls Weeping Redbud needs well-draining soil. I had mine, when I planted mine, I planted it slightly above the soil line because I had a lot of clay. My mother-in-law has clay, but not nearly as much. Mine was just solid. Hers is not solid here. So I think I'm going to aim for right at the soil line. Ruby Falls Redbud is a unique weeping redbud tree with heart-shaped burgundy purple leaves and rosy pink spring blooms that appear before the foliage. It grows 6 to 8 feet tall and 4 to 6 feet wide. It prefers full sun to part shade and is hardy in zones 5 through 9, a standout ornamental tree for small spaces or focal points due to its cascading form and striking leaf color. Of course, this whole bed is going to get a nice thick layer of mulch, which is really good. And I've got drip right to the base of this weeping redbud. All right, so and then of course the very last thing, whenever you're planting something like these, it's come through, use the side of your foot to compact the edge. I'm going in almost at a 45-degree angle too. Okay, lots of progress today. We didn't get anywhere. That might literally be a separate video, that corner. Lots of progress today. Feels good. Look at the color on that weeping redbud already. It's gonna look great. Okay, so feeling really good about this first layer. Everything we did today is foundation plants, foundation plants. These are plants that are going to be here for years and years and years to come. They will eventually grow so large that they'll fill in most of the space. That's several years down the line. So what we're going to be doing in the next video is we're going to be adding perennials in. We're also going to be setting pots or containers. We're going to be setting them up as sculpture interest within the garden as well. So a combination of perennials and some container interest, which I think will look really nice. And I do want her garden to feel really nice and full even when it's young. And then of course, over time, it will grow and fill in and be beautiful. I'm debating on if I want to do anything on this back curve. Eventually it won't be seen with the, with the redbud, but I might do some annuals or something over here. I'll have to think about it. But yeah, feeling really good about it. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, following along on my mother-in-law's front garden. As a reminder, it is facing west. It will get extreme hot sun. So we definitely chose plants that are extremely hardy and can really handle that full-on heat during the summer. All right, make sure you stay tuned for part 2 and potentially part 3, I think, on this. And tune back in for that. I'm going to try to do them consecutive days, but we'll see what what life hands me the next few days on stuff. But today we're working on Memorial Day, so I hope you all have a nice, peaceful Memorial Day, and that you are reminded to be thankful and grateful for those who serve, have served, you're gone, and then their families who continue to support them. As always, make sure you like and comment on the video. Every time you like and comment, it helps grow the video so much. And if you don't feel comfortable leaving a comment, just drop me an emoji below, letting me know that you made it to the end of the video and you say hi. And be sure to check out my Patreon community. The link is in the video description below. It is all things gardening, all things She's a Mad Gardener. It's just a bunch of people who like to hang out with me. That's literally it. There is a free tier and there are additional paid tiers. The higher up you are in the tiers, the more access you have, including exclusive videos, as well as group chats and sharing photos within the app, which is awesome. As always, she's a mad gardener or decorator or anything else that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all.